and welcome to the channel. Welcome to Arsenal Present. If you're joining me for the first time, be kind enough to strike a like on the video, subscribe. You're here to subscribe. Those are honored by subscribing. And lastly, make sure you turn on your notification bell. That is very, very important. Let me repeat myself for those that didn't catch what I said or those at the back. Like the video, subscribe. You're here to subscribe, and make sure you turn on your notification bell. What am I discussing today? Odegaard. They've been a lot of controversial talk and take on Odegaard ghosting in big games. He ghosted in Chelsea game. I have a different take to that. I understand he has in a bit objectively underwhelming in a few games, and I'm here to provide reasons to that, right? And we need to calm down on how we jump on these players, how we put labels on these players, how we superimpose certain expectations on these players. And when they disappoint sometimes, we go, so I told you, I get it. And we know football is tribalistic. We have oppositions and the antagonists reacting and giving their take. But our objective is their take. And if you're going to give a take on the internet, it's subjected to being pushed back. And pushing back on this narrative provided by I've forgotten his name. He works with DR Sport or AFTV. Let me play the video and I'll be reacting to it. And I'm going to be using my fair use privileges. So is Odegaard really ghosting? Let's have a listen to this video while I react to it.
Earlier in the season versus City, look, Odegaard's a quality player. 7 out of 10 times he'll give you a good performance. But in those big games, when you need him, when Arsenal need a captain, when Arsenal need a midfielder to grab the game, we're seeing underwhelming performances. Norway, midweek, crunch time, needed him to qualify for the Euros. Didn't turn up. North London derby.
So let's pause. He said for Norway, he didn't turn up in midweek. That is one of the most disingenuous statements to make. So is Odegaard the sole quote-unquote top player or world-class player playing for Norway? For me, I've always maintained Odegaard is a top-class player that can become world-class. He's not world-class, but if you put a certain labor and expectation on him, so he doesn't get to those levels, you have to beat him with, he's world-class, why he's not performing? He's not. Top-class players need other players to play well for them to be able to facilitate their top class quality. Even world-class players, they need a good supporting cast to be world-class. Yes, they are enigmas. Yes, they can change the game. They can grab by scrub to net. Those are world-class players, but they still need a supporting cast. Now, he wants to put the responsibility of the performances and the inability of Norway to qualify for the Euros on Odegaard, forgetting that Erling Haaland, your world-class striker that plays for Norway, what did he do too? So you see how disingenuous this argument is? So I'm going to exempt Haaland and focus on Odegaard. This is disingenuous. This is why I say, when you listen to these guys, you have to be very sensible and logical and know that they are peddling agendas. So for Norway, it's Odegaard's fault, even though Erling Haaland, who is arguably a better player, a world-class scorer, is in the team, right? But let's pin the inability of Norway to qualify on Odegaard, because let's give a dog a bad name so he can hang it. Make that make sense. George Weah plays for Liberia. He was a world-class player. He was unable to put Liberia's name on the map. But as a player, he was world-class. But George Weah couldn't qualify Liberia for the World Cup or the African Nations Cup. Even though we know George Weah was a world class, what does that tell you? You need a good supporting cast, no matter how world class you are, for you to perform at a certain level. Jesus Christ. Let's continue to listen to this waffle.
Where was he? Missing. Last season.
So let's say he said in North London Derby, Odegaard was missing. Like I said, Odegaard is the kind of player, he's a top class player, in my opinion, world class. He needs other players to perform. That day, we had a few injuries to Declan Rice. That was out of the second half. That game, we had Partey out on the last minute. We had I think Martinelli out. We had a bit of a mismatch performance because of certain quality players were out. Let me remind you, Odegaard is not an enigma. Odegaard is not world class. I know some Arsenal fans will die on that here and call him world class for them to win arguments against Madison or other number 10s. Odegaard is a top-class player, and top-class players need a good supporting cast for their ability, individual ability to shine through. Can we stop it? And they will have iffy games sometimes because they are not world class yet. Now, even world class players have off days, but their off days is not as much, it's not even as mid as their world class moments and on days. Can we just simmer down and be sensible and logical? Because he's speaking on JR Sport, the bigger platform, because he is using certain assets, doesn't make him intelligent. This is some nonsensical waffle. He's just pulling the emotional strings of unsuspecting fans. He's pulling the emotional strings of fans that are delusional. That's what he's doing. He is fanning to a demographic of fans who do not know their football to heart. Let's continue to have a listen.
Against City, when they needed him. Against Liverpool, when they needed him. Earlier in the season versus City, look.
Against City, against Liverpool, I'm tired of repeating myself. Odegaard cannot do it alone. There are other players in the team that struggled against City. Like, people say De Bruyne is a world-class player. I disagree. He's a very top-class player, higher than Odegaard. But City have a very formidable team that make De Bruyne look good. And De Bruyne looks good because he gives 1 or 2 great assists in matches that make him look as if he did great. If you watch City games, collect well, De Bruyne is not busting to the midfield, driving and creating like a Pablo Aimar or like a Gasca Medieta. He is not doing that. What he does is that he gives you that clutch moment, and that clutch moment in your mind makes you think he had a brilliant game. I'm not saying by the result he didn't do well, but if you watch the game, if you enjoy football in totality, De Bruyne is not dribbling people, he's not passing out, he's not doing that. He's not just having clutch moment because he has great supporting cast around him. Let's be sensible. Please, please, and please, let's be sensible. Don't let this lot mislead you, pull it on your emotional strings. Don't let that.
Odegaard's a quality player. 7 out of 10 times he'll give you a good performance. But in those big games, when you need him, when Arsenal need a captain, when Arsenal need a midfielder to grab the game.
This is what Salah. When Arsenal, you know the English word Salah, when Arsenal need a captain, when you need to get the F out. Get the F out. See, these things, this narrative and this talking point work on fools. It works on fools. I'm sorry to say that. It works on fools. But doesn't need a captain. Sometimes we want to analyze solely from the other side. You don't even give the opponent enough credit. Like the game against Chelsea. Chelsea pressed well. Let's give them their credit. When we beat City, people are making City was poor. No, Arsenal was very good against City. Sometimes when you analyze and understand that the opponent too can actually give you a good game. You also analyze from your own side, hoping you can impose your game. Yes, you want to impose your game, but if sometimes the opponent are just too good that your game plan is out of the window. Like Mike Tyson will say, everybody has a plan until you're punched in the face. So let's stop this analyzing from Odegaard's side. Are you analyzing on the side that the opponent too can have a great game that game? Stop it. Like I said again, he is not world class. He's a top class player. Maybe someday he might get to that world class echelon, but right now he's a top class player. Stop superimposing attribute that he is not on him so you can hang him. Stop it.
By the scruff of the neck, Declan Rice is doing that.
You see, this is the English nonsense. Declan Rice, I'm an Arsenal fan and I love Declan Rice. Declan has not been super fantastic. He has been good. I watch Arsenal every time. Declan Rice is not super fantastic. This is the English nonsense. The English bias. What has Declan Rice done spectacularly? Name it. Now, don't get me wrong. Declan Rice has been good. He has improved us defensively. He has given us a certain balance. But what has he done that has been better than Partey? Apart from tackling. Now, he's a better tackler than Partey. But what has he done? Is he a better ball carrier than Partey? No. Does he beat players better than Partey? No. But has he formidable defensive give us that balance we need? Yes. So stop overhyping Declan Rice. I'm an Arsenal fan. I watch him all the time. I love him. But come on. Stop embellishing Declan Rice.
Captain here, bro. And time after time now we're seeing it. What's going on? Odegaard.
Nothing is going on. You just have an agenda. He said nothing's tangible, nothing sensible. He just decided to pull on emotional strings of Arsenal fans who are weak, who are angry. They were disappointed result against Chelsea, and I get that. And the rest of the thing he said is waffle. Odegaard is a top class player. He's not a world class, and you have iffy games. And these players need other players to actually do their own job for them to flourish. It's a team's game. That's why I said George Weah could never qualify Liberia for any any tournament, even though it was a world-class player, because you need fantastic supporting cast. Like the video, subscribe, drop in the comment section what you think about this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.